Today, I would like to show you D Hall, the oldest existing building in the Central Police Station compound.
Hello everyone, this is the final episode of Discover Tai Kwun. I am Claudia, your host. D Hall might not look very old, but it is indeed the oldest surviving block in the complex, and it is the only remaining part of the radial prison constructed in the 1860s. Theoretically, prison warders were stationed at the center tower and patrol towards the end of each wing to monitor prisoners.
The radial design comprised a central inspection hall and 5 projecting wings. The 2 diagonal wings were demolished in 1897 and 1901, while bomb damage during the Second World War led to the demolition of 2 other wings and the inspection hall. Only the block of cells at the current D Hall has been left intact.
Aside from the Victoria Prison, many historical prisons built in the same period followed the radial-plan. The Eastern State Penitentiary, located in Philadelphia, the United States, was designed by British architect John Haviland and opened in the early 19th century.
Examples of prisons adopting radial design include Kingston Prison in the United Kingdom, the former Nara Prison in Japan, Seoul Daemun Prison in South Korea, and Cha Yi-Old Prison in Taiwan. Many of them have been decommissioned and transformed into museums or for other uses. Although the early structures of the Victoria Prison no longer exist, the locations of the former cell blocks are indicated by metal studs. See, these jail blocks extended all the way to the boundary wall.
D Hall used to accommodate a lot of prisoners. Some prison cells here were used for solitary confinement, housing prisoners who behaved poorly and thus being punished via water rice diet.
Chinese prisoners could have water and rice with a bit of salt, while non-Chinese prisoners would be given water and bread. This type of punishment was eventually abolished in 1981. On the top floor of D Hall, Prison Hospital was set up in the early days, and the Psychiatric Observation Unit was added in the 1960s. In 1972, when Siloam Psychiatric Center was established, this healthcare service was removed from the compound.
Prisoners would spend their 1 hour of free time at prison yard, usually doing exercises. This open space was also where they gathered during emergencies, large-scale inspections, or drug searches.
Chancery Lane borders the southern boundary of the compound, where a revamped wall was erected. There used to be low-rise tenement houses on that street.
In order to prevent people outside from looking at what happens inside the Victoria Prison, the height of the boundary wall was determined based on calculations and drawings. But now, we see several high-rise residential buildings, and I guess the residents there have a very nice view of Tai Kwun. You can tell from the materials at different levels that the wall has been extended for several times.
Previously, I introduced the Superintendent's house, which served as the main gate to the Victoria Prison. In modern times, the entrance of the prison was set up right here and is called Blue Gate. However, we see a green gate now. In fact, according to the result of paint analysis, the gate was originally green, and it was only painted blue in recent decades.
We keep the name Blue Gate because it was a familiar landmark in the neighborhood and even appeared in some movies and TV dramas. The Blue Gate has special significance for the convicted, marking the point where they left the outside world.
In the old days, prison staff, prisoners, and visitors have all passed through this gate to enter the once closed-off part of the city.
My favorite space in D Hall is the restaurant on the ground floor. It has a pleasant atmosphere which makes you forget you're in a jail block. The vaulted ceiling inside looks impressive, and I think you cannot find it in other buildings in Hong Kong. It is the best place you should go for getting some food before seeing a performance at JCQ.
I could not be more delighted to have been your host of Discover Tai Kwun. This series has come to an end. I wish you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you here.